Howdy everyone, I just wanted to do a quick update on the lights that I installed. Um, in just full disclosure and trying to be honest. So one thing that I noticed is the other day as I was out driving, I had the lights on, they're super bright, they're awesome. And all of a sudden they just turned off. And I was freaking out and I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I was like wrong this whole time. I was second guessing my install and all that fun stuff. And I had a buddy who was with me and I was kind of like walking through the process with him and just being like, what could I have missed? What did I do wrong? Um, and I was like, yeah, dude, it's like the lights are 5.14 amps. And he goes, is that per light or is that total? And they got me thinking, yeah, it's it's 5.14 amps per light. So I've been pulling 10.28 amps on a 10 amp circuit. And what's interesting is that when I took out the fuse, it was like super dark. I had my flashlight. I was trying to look at it. The gap in the fuse break is so narrow that you almost can't even tell. I had to pull another 10 amp fuse out and like compare to even see that there was even the teeniest break in it. But sure enough, there was a break. So the good and bad there is that the install is great. However, I'm faced with a little bit of a problem. And if you guys, if anybody has ideas about one of the options that I have, I'd be interested. Or if I'm ignoring one, I'd be interested to see what everybody thinks about it. So I think my options are. One option is I can break up the lights and put one light on, like say switch 3 and another light on switch 4. The downside there is I'm burning up an additional aux switch. Or since I'm barely pulling over 10 amps, I could just fight it and replace fuses. I don't like that idea. I'm not even going to consider it. Or I just move it to aux switch 2 and eat up a 15 amp circuit. That's probably the more ideal solution because I'm not it solves a lot of problems. The downside though is that's where I was going to install my amateur radio because the amateur radio pulls 13 amps, which is perfect for aux 2. And now you're thinking like, oh, I'll just move their ham radio to aux 1, put the lights on aux 2. The problem is I just really hate the idea of burning up a 15 amp or a 20 amp, 30 amp circuit on aux 1. It's just a lot of amperage to burn, and I'm not quite sure if I want to put the refrigerated cooler in the back or not. I just hate the idea of burning up that circuit. It just seems dumb. So that's kind of what's pushed me back to that other option of breaking up the lights onto 2 different aux switches, or I return the lights and get ones that are just under 10 amps, which is almost what I'm leaning down to doing. So the lights that I got are, let's see if I can show these. Of course, I'm not going to show. So I can hold it in front of me, that will work. They are the Rigid DSS Pro, and they are the driving version. So it has this flood map, whatever. They're the brightest and they shine the furthest and the widest, right? So the other option that I can do is I can move to one of these style, and those 2 versions so on this one, each light pulls 5.14 amps. I know it's like, man, can you just pull it down to like 4.9, guys, and just like put 2 LEDs on the side? Or I don't know. That's really frustrating because most circuits are going to be 10 or 15. And so, I mean, come on, Rigid. Like that just seems like I'm not going to say dumb. It just seems like yes, you'd have to make a compromise. But man, when you're doing install, now I realize that when you're doing this, you guys are providing the relay and the fuse and all that, but there's a lot of installs out there that utilize internal aux switches. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Maybe you'll hate me for saying that. Anyways, the flood or the spot version, they both only pull 3.36 amps. Both of them. I think it's just the front diffusion is a little bit different. It's aimed differently. And I think that's actually a very valid option. The trick is going to be, I already installed it. So are they going to let me return it, or am I going to have to try and sell them? I guess you could just like put them up for sale and then see if somebody, when I could just like buy the factory harness, because I already cut it. So I could buy the factory harness, put it in there and return it. I don't know. I got to call Rigid and see what they'll let me do. So anyways, that's kind of like issue one. The second issue that I found in trying to replace the fuse, not an issue, education. So I went to a local auto parts store. I'm not going to name them to protect the guilty. Went in there and I looked for Ford fuses, and I should have brought it in, but didn't. And I just grabbed, I didn't just grab, I'm not an idiot. I guess that's up to your own interpretation. I went in and looked for on the fuse that, under fairly quick recollection, looked like the right fuse. And I grabbed these little guys because I wanted to, well, because I thought that was the right fuse. And I'm going to look it up right here because I want to tell you the name of it. The ones that I grabbed were the mini. I know that there's like the mini low pros, which it was not that. I knew it wasn't those because those are super teeny. I knew it wasn't those, but I thought they were the mini. So I grabbed those, bought them, went out there, cracked it open, went to install it, and it's the wrong size. And quickly realized that, of course, and then went back in and they didn't have them. And the guy in the auto parts store is like, kind of tell me, you know, that Ford is well known for doing this and that I'm gonna have to get them directly from Ford, and, you know, kind of seemed like kind of a Ford hater, whatever. I don't really care. But told me that I have to go to the dealership and they're gonna be super expensive and blah. Well, I realized that people are jaded, and so I went to another auto parts store just to see. And sure enough, Advanced Auto Parts in McKinney, Texas. I walked in there, and sure enough, they had the right fuses. And what they are is they are micro twos. So I'll show you the difference of them right next to each other. So you see why I kind of thought they were the same thing. I mean, they are, I mean, pretty, other than the blades, you know what I mean? Which, I'll be honest, when I looked at it, I was kind of like, the real one. But I mean, like, I knew it wasn't like the micro low pros, and I knew it wasn't the big honking ones. And so in my brain, I was just like, man, I just supposed to remember it. It was late and it was dark. And so anyway, so like I say, I grabbed these guys, went out there and quickly realized that they were different. And on the top end, you can see just how close they are. You know what I mean? Neat. So if you are looking for the fuses for your 2021 Ford Bronco, they are micro twos. You can probably just get a kit of micro twos and micro threes. They usually come together. They're also these size of the other fuses. So anyways, just wanted to give you a quick update that those are the fuses, which I found out because I blew the fuse because I installed 10.28 amp lights in a 10 amp circuit. And to their credit, they actually ran for probably 5 or 6 hours before it burned out, because it's probably not pulling too much more than the 10 amps, but eventually it did blow. And so yeah, if you guys have any ideas as to other ones that I missed, you know, from idiotic to ideal, you know, ignore it and keep replacing fuses. Not an option really in my mind. Put each light on their own circuit. Again, kind of a waste of amperage. Actually, there's kind of like a sub-win in that one that I was actually thinking too. So I don't know if you guys remember saying, but I also ordered that 2 light kit from, I think it's for parts, or it might be Mountain to Metal. I can't remember which one. I'll update you guys when it comes in. I'm still back ordered, so I'm waiting for it. A sub one I thought might be interesting would be to get a smaller light, like the 2 cube light, or even just one of the, so I've got the driving, to get an additional flood or spot, haven't decided which, and to mount the driving and the flood next to each other, and to put each set on their own circuit. So in theory, I actually view that one as probably one of the more optimal options, but here's where that may go awry. And again, you probably remember saying I'm not an electrical engineer, but I know it to be dangerous. So if I were to take the one light with the 5.14 amps, and then I were to take the other one, go away Siri, what is it, 5.14 plus, what was it, 3.36, it's 8.5 amps. So if I were to put basically one of those, so a flood and a driving on their own circuit, on the, say, the driver's side, and a flood and a driver on the passenger side on its own circuit, I'm basically putting 8.5 amps on each side on its own circuit on a 10 amp circuit. It should be perfectly fine. However, and again, if there's an electrical engineer out there or somebody who knows more than me, if you can help answer this question, I'd be interested. The concern that I have there is, by having 2 lights that are pulling different amperages, but all it's pulling through is a spliced line, is that going to cause problems? Anyways, if you guys know, if you could let me know, that'd be awesome. Anyways, so those I kind of see as my options right now. Not gonna lie, the option that I have going right now is I just do another 10 amp in there, just so that there's at least a fuse in there. Should something else go wrong, at least it will pop. And I've just left it off. I mean, I flipped it on just to make sure that it was actually that. Turn it back off when it's, you know, it's just sitting there waiting for me to decide what to do. Anyways, sorry for the long update. And again, let me know what you guys think. And we will see you guys later. I guess one last little thing is I've got a couple other mods coming. I've got some metal moly panels coming to fit on the back, in between the roll cage and the back window area. I also have some of the Mountain to Metal moly panels, or moly driver and passenger side pockets coming. We also had coming the light bracket. I thought about getting, there's moly panels that you can get for the on the side of the center console, but that involves drilling holes in the center console, and I'm just not ready to drill holes in there yet. I guess I'm a pansy, whatever. I don't know. I'm just not ready to drill holes in the center console yet. I think I've got a few other things coming too. Maybe I'll do some install videos for those as well, just for curiosity's sake. Anyways, I will see you guys later.